Hello, unbreakable mompreneurs. Do you think that email marketing is dead? Do you not know how to do email marketing and you're wondering, I keep spending all this money and nothing's happening? Well, today is your day because MV Braverman is going to talk to us more about it. So my name is Sharice Walker, your host. Why don't you introduce yourself to our audience?
Thank you for having me. Hi, I'm MV Braverman, and I am the founder, which is a lofty title, of Inbox Welcome, where I basically take emails from sent to seen. So I help businesses reach their subscribers in their inbox where we usually are. At least I am there every day. And that can be campaigns, automations, and all different ways we send emails.
Okay. So, um, how do you do that? Like, how do you get that email list so that you can then start pitching? Because I have some people I get probably one up to five emails a day from them. And so I keep them just because I'm doing a swipe file. But how do you get the email list? How do you get started?
Well, there's obviously two different, very divergent approaches to getting your email list. So one is people who buy or scrape lists. I do not work with people who do cold email like that. I work only with opt-in marketers. So you ask permission. Someone puts their hand up and says, "I want to hear from you," or "Send me your cool thing," and I send you the cool thing and follow up if you indicate that you're interested. In some ways, people think of email incorrectly. The best way I've heard this explained is that social media and being on podcasts or a speaker, that's your discovery platform. This is how people find you.
Mhm.
Email is a relationship platform. That's how you grow the relationship. No one is likely to stumble over my email list. They're not just gonna magically land there. Facebook is not gonna put it in front of them. But once they've put their hand up, it is a great way to grow the relationship because then you're no longer at the mercy of the algorithms, time of day, and whatever the heck hiccup they're having.
Okay. So do you create the copy for it and then you do the emails for somebody? Or what does your company specifically do?
My primary focus is on deliverability, which is um, basically there's a difference between delivery and deliverability. Delivery is what you see in your dashboards, and that's what a lot of marketing platforms brag about. They say 99% deliverability. That's a misleading statistics. So this is 99% delivery. So they can say with certainty that whoever you sent it to, their mailbox provider accepted the email, but you have no idea where it ended up.
Right.
It could have gone into spam. It could have disappeared completely. And that's deliverability. So
Gotcha.
I like to call myself a deliverability detective because I help people figure out where their emails are going, what they're doing, and if they're not doing what they want, what is the reason behind it.
So you can track if it's been opened, if it goes into the spam folder and everything, and you can fix that.
Essentially, yes. We don't, these days, there is pretty much every rate that people, every metric is lying to you. So your open rates aren't really open.
Gotcha.
Your click rates aren't really clicks. There's a lot of non-human interaction happening that people don't understand.
Gotcha. Okay. So what are the new requirements that you talk about with Google and Yahoo? What are some of those new changes?
Um, the kind of the background behind this is, ChatGPT came out, I think it was 2022, and the amount of spam, which was already enormous, exploded, and it had gotten better. So we have for a long time had these best practices
Mhm.
for how to get emails into inboxes, but in October of 2023, Google and Yahoo got together and said, these are now requirements. These are no longer suggestions. These are things you must now do. And briefly summarized, it's authenticate your emails, send emails that people want, and make it easy to unsubscribe.
Mm, okay.
And I'm happy to dive deeper into each one of them. There's kind of a technology side and there's a psychology side to each one of them.
Okay. So let's go deeper because I literally just unsubscribed from somebody and it felt so good. I'm like, you know what? I'm never gonna ever buy anything from you, and I really don't want to see your name. So unsubscribe. And it's much easier now than ever. But what are some of the things in the deep dive that you can tell us more about?
So the first one is authenticate your emails, and there's a series of things you need to do technically. And definitely a lot of solopreneurs I'm seeing are not doing those things. Or they're only doing it for one of their email streams, like especially their email marketing platform, and they don't think about all the other ways they send email, like their one-on-one emails, their WordPress contact forms, maybe their help desk software. So all of those things are part of your email reputation. The psychology side of authenticate your emails is make sure that your display name and your from name don't keep changing. Sometimes I get an email in my inbox says like from Amanda. I have absolutely no idea who Amanda is.
Mhm.
Amanda did not set her display name correctly.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
And sometimes people change like the from addresses. They pretend that it's from the CEO or it's from their assistant or whatever, and it's just very inconsistent. So that's the authenticate your emails.
Okay.
The second part is send emails that people want, which is, um, I mean, it's kind of obvious, like get their consent.
Mhm.
And my take on it, it should be informed, enthusiastic consent, not sneaky pre-checked box or you can't get through this without checking this. Tell people what they're getting and, ask for their permission. But the technical side of it is that you cannot have reported spam rate. So if someone marks your email as spam, if enough people mark your emails as spam, you're going to have big problems. So the threshold that Google has set is 0.3%. So that's 3 out of 1,000 recipients. If they consistently mark your email in spam, you are in big trouble. Ideally, it needs to be less than 0.1%, and that's 1 out of 1,000.
Wow.
So that's part of it. And the other thing that people do not know is that when you see someone reported something as spam in your like MailChimp or ConvertKit dashboard, that does not count Google emails. Google does not send us data. You can only find out your Google reputation through Google Postmaster tools.
Wow. Interesting. So you have,
Uh,
oh, really? Oh, you
there's
have
a
more.
lot. And then the last thing, of course, is make it easy to unsubscribe. So again, there's a technical thing that your provider does behind the scenes. But again, please don't do the 6-point font in light gray on white, thinking that they're just gonna give up. And no, it's much simpler to mark something as spam. And I have talked to people who just basically say, I just mark everything as spam, even if I know I subscribe to it. That's just how I deal with it. So you don't be that person.
Hmm.
10 unsubscribes is better in Google's eyes than one spam report. Those are not exact numbers, but I don't have their exact numbers. But basically, an unsubscribe is a pretty neutral signal, unless there's a whole bunch of them. A spam complaint is not a neutral signal.
So isn't everything spam if you don't have permission to send it? For example, I'll give you an example. And I don't think this was spam personally, but as a realtor, if I'm having a hard time selling a house, I might look up all the houses around it that have sold in the last 180 days. And I personally go into, because we have contact information on the MLS. And so I copy and paste that person's email, I put it in, and I do like a blind copy so I can send one email to 100 people, right? Or 150. But I'm personally one-on-one going and getting that email and contacting them and sending them an email like, hey, here you go. This house is for sale. Are you interested? I had one person contact me back. It's always the people that complain, not the ones that are like, thank you. But I had one person contact me back saying, how do I unsubscribe from your list? And I said, there's no list. I personally sent you that email. He goes, well, don't send me anymore. I'm like, this is a realtor who I mean, we're colleagues. We have each other's contact information, and now you're telling me I can't contact you anymore. Okay, interesting. So is that considered spam, or can I get in trouble for doing that, even though it's public email that's listed the way we communicate with each other?
Okay, so there's a big legal nuance to this that I am not qualified to go
Oh,
into.
okay.
Um, so some of it is, do you have some kind of a relationship with them? Like if I have worked with you, if you helped me buy a house, and 5 years later you're emailing me saying, "Hey, I hear you're moving. Can I help you sell it?" We
Mhm.
have had a prior relationship, so it's okay until I tell you to take me off your list.
Okay.
But what's legal and what's a good idea are two different things
Mhm.
because for example, all of those, political solicitation emails are exempt from the Can Spam Act. They can legally keep emailing you as long as they want. This will not stop them from ending up in spam because people keep marking it as spam. So,
Interesting.
what's legal and what's a good idea are different things.
Gotcha.
And for the one person who said, take me off your list, there's probably 10 who didn't and marked it as spam.
Hmm. Interesting. Okay, good to know. And so I guess the word that you used is prior relationship, right?
Right.
But I will say that's a difference by industry as well, because as a lender, because I'm also a lender, I only have 180 days from the time somebody inquired that I can legally actually, to my knowledge, continue to contact them. So I don't know, there's rules for every different industry, and
Right.
consult your broker or an attorney, I guess, right?
Yeah, and there's different state laws. Like I'm in California, we have much
Mhm.
stronger privacy laws
Yeah.
than some other states. So yeah, it's I mean honestly, I'm like keep your hands as clean as possible because you will stumble on something.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So say that I have this very long list of people that I've acquired their information either because I purchased it from a company that gave it to me or that I've had because, they inquired about something at one point and I got their information. If I haven't sent an email in a while for that, what can I do now?
Uh, don't be business as usual because I have had this for some reason over the last like 3 or 4 months. I've started getting emails from people and I searched my mailbox. I have not heard from them since 2021. I don't know what it makes the 2021 magical, but they suddenly start emailing me like nothing happened and they're pitching me. Like, please,
Mm.
please don't do that. They have absolutely no idea who you are. I think my biggest thing is golden rule, right? We are all email senders and recipients, and I haven't met a single person who has said my inbox is so empty.
That's a good point.
Everyone's like it's overstuffed.
Yeah.
So that shouldn't stop you from emailing them,
Mhm.
but treat them how you want to be treated.
Yeah. Okay.
So again, don't just come out of nowhere. If it's been a while, reintroduce yourself. Say, hey, this is who I am. This is how we first connected.
Okay.
Um, I'll reach out maybe one or two more times, and if you don't want to hear from me anymore, you won't. I'd rather you had a small and engaged list than a giant
Mhm.
uninterested one.
Yeah.
Because A, you're paying for it, and B, you're ruining your reputation.
Very good point. So say that they do opt-in, I guess is the word I'm looking for. And now what is the authentication? You mentioned it briefly. Is there another app? Because sometimes I see, hey, we sent a link to your email, please verify it. So is that what authentication is? What does that mean?
Authentication is basically digital signature in a way, saying that you are who you say you are. So
Okay.
if I say you are getting an email from Envy at Inbox Welcome, I
Oh,
put a cryptographic signature and some other proof that I am in fact this person.
okay.
So what you're talking about is two-factor authentication or multi-factor authentication, which is a little bit different. They are kind of related.
Okay.
But the other thing is people don't always think about is make sure that your opt-in forms are secured
Mm.
because you do not want to end up with fake or fake people or people who didn't actually subscribe.
Interesting. Okay. And let's talk about the inbox. You know, people, I have a friend that might have 20,000 emails in their inbox. So how do you deal with digital?
Amateur.
I know. Thank you. Well, it hasn't been that long. It's only been 10 years, right? I keep like on Friday nights when I'm bored or something, date night, I'll go through and I'll delete 1,000. I'm like, yes, but I haven't had one of those nights. So, how do you deal with that digital overwhelm that we all kind of feel? We're inundated with so much information.
Same answer as everybody else. I don't. The only time I've had inbox zero is the first day that I open a new email account.
I know.
I know that there are people who do that. And sometimes, like last year at the beginning of the year, I read this somewhere, digital bankruptcy. I
Mm.
declared digital bankruptcy. I just archived every single email in my Gmail inbox in one of them. And then just said if they really want it, if I really need to hear from them, they'll reach out again.
So, what does archive mean? Does it kind of go bye-bye, or is it stuffed away somewhere underneath the
Right.
pillow or the mattress?
Yeah.
A digital.
And this is different. So the way that Gmail does things is different from how everybody else does things, and they have kind of revolutionized the way we think about it. But essentially, with Gmail, um, it- being in the inbox, it's just a label that they put on it. Once you remove that label, it's archived. It's kind of just hovering in the back there. You won't see it again until you search for it or you look at your all mail. Where with others, you are deleting it and maybe eventually it'll be trashed. So I trash some stuff I know I don't want to see again and I archive the rest. But there's like a whole conversation we could have about this.
Yeah.
And it's a lot. And that's something you need to think about as a marketer if you're sending email. You know, people abandon their mailboxes because they get so frustrated, they start new ones. People lose access. I'm on Reddit in like the Gmail subreddit, and people are always like, I changed my phone and I can't remember my password. Can I get in? The answer is no, you cannot get in. I'm sorry. Especially if you haven't set up other options for logging in. But that's a big problem. And these days, so in the past, if you ran out of space in your Google account, they would still deliver emails to you. As of a few months ago, that is no longer the case.
Yeah.
They will now bounce those emails.
Mhm.
As a marketer, that's very important to keep an eye on it because Google is like, okay, this person just keeps sending to this mailbox that I already told them is full.
Mhm.
They're not paying attention.
Gotcha. And so they should be reaching out. So I, as a business owner, if I'm super busy and I don't want to have time for this, then your company, what specifically did your company offer?
It depends. I mean, right now it's small enough that I do different things with different clients. So some
Okay.
of it is deliverability audits. You know, we dig into
Mhm.
your open rates went from 40% to 12%.
Mm.
What's going on?
Okay.
Like, yes, open rates aren't an exact metric, but what's important is are they trending up, down, or are they staying the same?
Okay.
If they're way down, something's happening. I also help, connect different software because a lot of times I work with business owners who like some data is in their email marketing platform, some data is in their membership platform, just different things all over the place and they're not connected.
Yeah.
So, for example, if you have a membership with paying members, it's pretty important to know if their emails bounce. But it's actually very difficult to be notified of that. So I help surface the data that helps anticipate problems.
Okay. So you don't create the emails though, or the copy and set up a
I'm
campaign
happy to
to do
I'm
that?
happy to do that as well.
Okay.
A lot of times people already have a copywriter or they have something ready.
Okay. No, that's good to know. All right, so we're going to shift gears because we just have a couple minutes left. And I want you, because you're a mom, You're sitting on a park bench and a 9-month pregnant woman comes and sits right next to you. This is her first baby. You get talking and you have the flashback like the movie has where all the different stages of life with your kids. And I know that you have an adult one as well. So my question for you is, what is one piece of advice you would give that new mom just starting out? And it does not have to be just the baby stage. It can be any stage.
Ask for and accept help
Mm-hmm.
and do it on your own terms. So that's kind of nuanced. And he did not have any family support. Um, like it was really hard. There were some other external events that made it extra hard, but like I had a hard time as a parent. Just and sometimes people would offer help and I didn't accept it.
Mm-hmm.
And it was also very hard to ask. And I'm now on the flip side. I am actually the admin of our Buy Nothing group, and I posted, I'm like, I really miss the tiny human stage. I will happily come and hang out with your kid for an hour or two. And no one took me up on it.
Yep.
Now they know me, like they know I'm a real person. A lot of them have met me. I know that a lot of them have small kids, but no one said yes. And I think that that's like part of it is culture, part of it is just where we are. Because
Yeah.
like I'm in Silicon Valley, people move all the time. It's a lot more transactional than maybe in smaller places. But it is still very hard for people to accept help, to take help, and you
Mhm.
don't have to agree to every help that's offered. But set reasonable boundaries, but be flexible.
Okay. I think that that's really good advice. And it is true. People don't want to inconvenience you or they feel bad asking because they're like, oh, I don't think she really means it. No, really, I do mean it. I will take that little baby anytime for free.
Exactly. It's
And
a
they,
lot easier when I can give them back.
yeah.
I'm a lot like, yes, I don't even mind if they're crying the entire time,
Mhm.
where I would be if I had to do it 24 hours.
Oh, that's true.
So,
That's good. That was sweet of you to offer. And hopefully someone will take you up on that as well. Moms, if you're in that boat, MD's here for you if you're in Silicon Valley. Oh, so if somebody wanted to find you, one of our listeners, how would they do that?
I am quite active on LinkedIn. Pretty sure I am the only MV Braverman.
Mhm.
My email, yes, I live in my inbox, so mv@inboxwelcome.com, and my website is inboxwelcome.com. There's a big subscribe button that I hope you will click and subscribe. And I have other resources on there that will help you with technical and other things. Email.
Email is, some people think it's a lost art, but oh my gosh, people, because you have those names all the time forever until they unsubscribe, which most of them don't anyway. And so it's just a way, if you're struggling with your sales, get back to your email and get back to your inbox. So I really appreciate you coming on and teaching us about that because I will say I'm very naive and I love having an expert when it comes to the email stuff. So thank you.
Thank you for having me.
And Unbreakable Moms, use your email, get the list because those social media platforms might go away tomorrow and you're not going to have any information. Whereas if you have the email, you'll have it for life and you can make so much money. And it's not all about the money either, but it's the connections as well. So get your email list and reach out to MB Braverman. And if you like this, then please share and subscribe and go out and make it a great day. Beautiful moms, remember, you are unbreakable. Keep illuminating the world with your strength, pursuing your dreams, and reveling in the splendor of motherhood. This is Sharice Walker, bidding you farewell for now. Stay tuned for more empowering conversations on the next episode of the Unbreakable Mompreneurs podcast. Until then, keep shining bright. Signing off with love, Sharice Walker.